Like it or not, the senior and elderly population is vulnerable to negligence committed by medical professionals, nursing home and assisted living facilities, pharmaceutical and medical device companies, insurance companies, and everyday individuals and businesses. The Injured Senior Podcast is here to help. Steve Heisler is the creator of the National Injured Senior Law Center and has been advocating for seniors' rights for over 20 years. You have questions, and Steve Heisler has answers. This is the Injured Senior Podcast.
Hello, my name is Stephen Heisler, and I am an injury attorney based out of Baltimore, Maryland. Back in 1987, I was a 26-year-old first-year student at the University of Baltimore Law School. At that time, my 76-year-old grandfather had some back issues and went to see an orthopedic surgeon for a consultation. The doctor, after examining my grandfather, recommended surgery. Now, my grandfather was not a healthy man. Among other things, he had cardiac problems. He definitely had a back problem, but it wasn't life-threatening. Nevertheless, he was cleared for back surgery. He had a cardiac event during the surgery and suffered a stroke. The stroke was so severe that he died several days later. His death devastated my family, mostly my mother, but all of us were definitely affected. She, my mom, was very close to her dad. Now, folks, the whole experience with my grandfather has stuck with me to this very day. If my grandfather was elderly, and 76 at that time was considered elderly, if he had a heart condition and his back condition wasn't life-threatening, why was he approved for surgery? Now, doctors are considered the experts. So he did what they told him to do. Why didn't the orthopedic surgeon or the anesthesiologist speak up and tell him that he wasn't a good candidate for surgery? Friends, I can tell you one of those reasons. In my opinion, elderly individuals in the United States and really across the world are considered a profit center to the medical community. I believe the doctor put profit as his first priority. And my grandfather's heart condition really just didn't matter. Folks, this is just plain wrong. Therefore, I have made it my mission to tirelessly advocate on behalf of seniors and the elderly population who've been injured due to the indifference and negligence of medical professionals, nursing homes, drug or medical device companies, medical facilities, and other individuals and companies. Now, friends, I've been practicing law since 1988, and I started my own law firm in 1999. The name of the firm is Stephen Heisler, the injury lawyer. And as you've guessed, I handle all types of injury cases and have handled all types of injury cases in my career, ranging from vehicle accidents and on-the-job injuries to medical malpractice and nursing home neglect and abuse. About a year ago, I started the National Injured Senior Law Center. The overriding reason that I founded the National Injured Senior Law Center is to help the senior and elderly community avoid what happened to my grandfather. The medical community needs to always be held accountable. Also, seniors comprise approximately 1/3 of the U.S. population. Seniors are a growing population, and seniors are living longer. Seniors and elderly people need a law center to advocate their needs when they have injuries. And folks, this is what we do at the National Injured Senior Law Center. Now, I've handled over 20,000 injury cases in my career, and a good number of those clients were seniors and elderly. Now, I love all my clients, but my senior and elderly clients have always found a special place in my heart. I want to help seniors, period. And by the way, I'm a senior myself. Seniors and the elderly population are generally devalued by society. Folks, that is reprehensible. But the reality is that as we age, many seniors and elderly become more vulnerable and have more disabilities. Many in society wrongly believe that seniors and the elderly population don't and can't contribute to society and thus have no value. Furthermore, not everyone is taught to show compassion and respect for seniors and the elderly. I see it every day. We live in a youth-centric culture in the United States, and we don't fight as hard for our seniors and elderly as we do for the younger and stronger. That's just not right. We need to always be fighting to help our seniors and elderly. Now, the purpose of this podcast is to bring to light the legal issues that affect the injured senior and elderly population in the United States and across the world, and give our listeners as much information as possible so that listeners can make an educated decision as to how to handle those legal issues that affect the injured senior and elderly population. We will talk about those legal issues and interview the best experts who can tell you what you need to know regarding your particular legal issue. This includes medical malpractice, and folks, I see it all the time, nursing home negligence and abuse, defective drugs and defective medical devices such as Xarelto, defective knee replacements, defective hip replacements, financial, physical, and sexual abuse. That's disgusting, but it occurs every minute of the day. Age discrimination, on-the-job injuries to the senior and elderly population, and personal injuries of all types, such as motor vehicle accidents and slip and falls, and much, much more. Friends, this podcast will be the go-to source for the injured senior and elderly population in the United States and across the world. We also hope to build a community of individuals who are passionate about discussing issues experienced by injured seniors and elderly. And when I say discussing, I mean, I want to hear from you. I want you to email me. I want you to text me. I want you to call me on my cell phone. I want to hear about your particular experience as an injured senior or elderly person, or your particular experience as the brother or sister of an injured senior or elderly person, or the son or daughter of an injured senior or injured elderly person, or the husband or the wife of an injured senior or elderly person. Now, why should you listen? Folks, because we will cover exhaustively any and all topics important to the injured senior and elderly population. And we will provide you with information so that you can more effectively handle your legal injury issue. Now, who should listen? Friends, anyone who is either a senior or elderly person who is or has been injured, and friends and families of injured senior and elderly individuals, or anyone who has an interest in the legal topics concerning the injured senior and elderly population. The format of this show will predominantly be interviewing experts on all legal issues important to the injured senior and elderly population. And ladies and gentlemen, we will publish this podcast once a week. Thanks for listening to my story. I want to hear your story. So until next time, have a great day.
Thanks for listening to the Injured Senior Podcast with Steve H. Heisler. If you enjoyed the podcast, please rate, subscribe, review, and share on Apple, Google, or wherever you get your podcasts. To find out more or to get help anytime, go to injuredseniorhotline.com or call 855-622-6530. We'll see you next time.